It's time for a weekly anime podcast slash review. Anime's been getting crazier and crazier by the season, and Date A Live 5 just finished up a few weeks ago after a 2-year hiatus between Date A Live 4. And we finally got around to finishing that. So, it's time for us to talk about it. For those of you who don't know, Date A Live is a pseudo harem, pseudo romance, action adventure kind of anime centered around the main character Shido, who has the power to seal spirits with love. He has to have immense amounts of game, which he doesn't. That's why he has to get help from a crew led by his little sister. And as he's taking these spirits out on dates, he gets all these different kind of visual novel options read to him. Like, they get displayed for the crew of the ship, and they have to vote and choose, and it gets pretty weird. So, season 1 is pretty unassuming. It kind of leans into the concept. It introduces a few of the girls, also known as spirits. Sets the stage. The spirits appear via these space quakes that are basically like, they kind of almost just dimensionally eat a portion of the planet whenever they happen, and they typically happen when a full-blown spirit appears. So, season 1, kind of unassuming, it introduces the whole concept. Shido and his little sister, Kotori, who is, again, the head of the organization Ratatosk. So, without further ado, we will throw it over to my lovely co-host to get her thoughts on what we saw in season 1, and we'll introduce some characters bit by bit. That's you. That's you.
That is.
Gotta talk now. You gotta talk now.
I so I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of what I wanted to say because I did not have a lot of time to prep for this. So, just to kind of go over a little bit from what I can even remember from season 1, um, we obviously meet our first spirit, um,
Toka.
Toka. Well,
Also,
we name her Toka.
yeah, her code name is Princess. She is the third from the left here. Also, credit to Excalibur on DeviantArt, an Italian artist who put this all together, because I couldn't find any good official pictures and artwork of the characters. So it's watermarked over there in the upper right, just right above Muku slash Zodiac on the right, third from the right. Excalibur's watermark is up there, so credit to them where credit is due. This is actually an incredibly nice picture. I like it a lot. But the first spirit we meet is Yatogami Toka. Over there on the far left, and then over to the right by 2. Aptly named Princess. So, let's talk about her personality.
So, it's kind of hard to like see it from this photo, but they essentially, like, what I think is funny about Toka is, and I guess they kind of do this for all the spirits, but I don't know why, I just think it's funny for Toka in particular. They make her look like so badass because she's basically just wielding this giant ass sword that is fucking cool, and yet her primary motivation is food.
You can relate.
I can relate a lot to Toka because of that. And I don't know. I think Toka, I don't know why, but I love all the foodie characters. Especially, like, I mean, not just Toka, but also in
Everything.
everything,
Just
like
everything.
literally everything. But that was just, I wish I had a little bit more time because I was looking through and clipping pictures, but if you search for them in Google, there's plenty of her like stuffing her face, looking forward to like her date with Shido, who which just turns into her eating food. And
And how he can afford it as a broke ass jobless high school student with no parents
well,
is crazy.
Well, it's actually like some of that he is like affording, but some of that is also sponsored by our little sister and her team.
Which, how the fuck is she getting money for this?
I don't know.
Again, because no parents.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. But either way, um I loved Toka so much. I think like her
You can keep going. You can keep going.
oh no, okay, yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
just trying to bring up a better picture for us,
oh, okay.
so
Cause yeah,
we can have a more enhanced visual.
cause yeah, I what is it? What was I wanting to say?
I don't know.
Oh, also just to kind of speak on like the show as a whole, like I kind of do like I don't know why, but it took me a minute to appreciate it because then as I was going through trying to read at least some of the synopses for the show, I'm kind of realizing, oh, like it's kind of more like a dating sim, and they make it fun by having his sister's team choose the options that he chooses for the dates for these spirits, and it makes it like really playful and really fun.
Because my guy has a Riz level of no.
Yeah,
He
starts off really bad,
and he ends pretty bad too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like
My guy's got a Riz level of fucking 0.
and like it's really funny because later in this series, like he gets like there ends up kind of being not really like a well, I guess kind of like a rival as much as you can call him one, but
Who?
well, it's the ultimate bad guy at the end.
Oh yeah, Westcott.
Yeah.
I thought you were thinking rival as his other self,
No.
which
Well,
we'll get to.
we'll get to, but yeah, no, like more like Westcott because it's like it just the last like season like of the show. Well, at least season 5 of the
Which
show.
was the last season.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's done.
It's
I don't
done.
know. I don't know why. I think there's always just gonna be more, but
Yeah, well, I want more. It's good shit.
but yeah. So like with Westcott at the end, it's just really funny because it's like they make him look so cool and our protag is still just a dweeb and I'm glad they kind of kept it that way. Like I'm glad that because they enhanced the look of what the show looks like later
With a bunch of CGI
with
effects,
CGI
which
effects and stuff.
not everybody's a fan of, but I don't think it's too bad. Especially since if you've watched RWBY, you're kind of used to that jarring switch in styles. But it's not too bad. I would prefer if it didn't do that, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm not really I'm not quite sure why they would have decided to do that either. I don't know if like I don't know if they were trying to save money or what, but I don't even think that those models would save money because either way, I think no matter what you're doing, whether it's animation or making the models and rigging them, it can still be some work. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that despite that they didn't try to not like overhaul his character, but tried to make him look more appealing, I guess. Like I'm glad they kept him how he was. Like I'm glad they didn't make too many changes.
So there are several factions at play here. There's the spirits, which are on screen right now. There is Shido and Ratatosk, head by again his little sister, who are trying to save the spirits. But then, as she was talking about, there's a character called Isaac Westcott who is head of a company called DEM, and he funds a specialized force called the AST, the Anti-Spiritual Takedown Unit, or something along those lines, whose whole sole mission is to kill the spirits to stop the spacequakes. But there's more to it than meets the eye, as we'll get into later. So, after we meet Toka and go through some shenanigans, our next spirit is Yoshino, who is 3 to the right of Toka, the first blue starting from the left, in between the red and the yellow. And Focus hates her because of our first meeting. So, she's an incredibly shy young girl who can only speak through her puppet. I can kind of relate when you're completely withdrawn like that. And we spend time with her, our boys got to riz her up, try and make her fall in love with him. Somebody steals her puppet, it gets lost, And so she goes into complete meltdown mode. And when we do find it, Toka, actually, who got jealous of us spending time with her, confronts her, and she just gives Toka the verbal thrashing of a lifetime, effectively saying that Shido only kissed her because he had to, and that Shido likes Yoshino way more, and Focus just hates her for that thrashing, but I think she's great. So Toka uses a big old sword from Sandalphon, and Yoshino uses ice power so she can turn her puppet into a giant frost, like, wolf demon thing.
That can fly.
Yeah, so Toka's angel is Sandalphon, and Yoshino's angel, I think, is Zadkiel? Zadkiel? Something like that? I think Zadkiel. Because Zafkiel's Kurumi's, which we'll talk about later. Zafiel, Zashkiel, Zashbel, Zatchbel.
I don't think it's such.
It might be Zatchbel. But anyway, her spirit is the angel, like Zafkiel or something like that. Not Zafkiel, like Zadkiel or something. So, I like her character because she reminds me a lot of me, very withdrawn, very antisocial. And she loves her some soap operas. She watches daytime television and soap operas, and it's great. And she tries to use those experiences in her day-to-day life. What you looking for? Oh my goodness. Okay, I have that pulled up. So anyway, you can go back to talking about her. I toss it over to you.
So, even though I don't really care for her, I do actually like a lot of her interactions that she has with the other spirits, especially I can't remember what episode it was, but they're all like sitting down on the couch and they're essentially Zadkiel, okay. So they're essentially talking about I think they were all talking about like their favorite moments with him, and I can't remember who they were actually razzing on in that, but like
They were razzing on Kaguya,
but
or not Kaguya, but Kaguya's sister.
yeah, Kaguya's sister, but and that was great. I think they do kind of give her some development because of the other spirits. Like she does, like not that she gets necessarily more outgoing, but the way that she interacts with the other spirits, I think like kind of shows her growth a little bit. Like they don't. It's kind of hard because they only kind of seem to give them a few episodes.
Yeah, just enough episodes to introduce them, show us their powers, date them up, riz them up, and move on.
Yeah, that's kind of about
love them and leave them, hump them and dump them.
That's about what it is. And so but later, because of the other episodes, you kind of get to see them a little bit more and how they are, and I like those because it gives a little glimpse on like what some of their day-to-day antics would be.
Man, I'm talking about season 1. You're just jumping right into fucking season 5.
Yeah, that's all I can I tried, but I can't.
Try harder anyway.
Can't remember.
So, her power or her spirit name is Hermit, which is cute because she's a hermit. So, the next spirit we meet, I believe, is Diva, who is to the right of the twins. I know you can't see my cursor, but she's to the right of the twins. It is Miku something or other. Miku Izayoi. Spirit of Gabrielle. So, we initially meet her because she's a super duper pop idol who loves women and is just completely disgusted by the male gender for the longest time because she got completely betrayed and fucked over by her manager and whatnot. So she thinks all men are just kind of after one thing and they're just dirty creatures. So she uses the power of Gabriel, who is basically a giant piano. She's she's effectively the white mage support spirit. So when we first meet her, she has to, like, she just beats the hell out of us and then hypnotizes a bunch of girls to also try and beat the hell out of us. So then, in order for us to get closer to seal her power, knowing this, we had to have Shido dress up as a woman. Full cross dress, long hair, skirt and everything, Shiori mode. It was great. So we had to have him cross dressed to get close to her. And she eventually figured it out. But then the DEM AST units show up to try and take her down. And our main character, who initially started learning how to rhythm up himself, said without being prompted that he would protect her no matter what. So he basically thrust himself into the fray against giant flying, like, half robot girls who shoot lasers and shit called wizards. And he managed to use Toka's power after sealing it, because when you seal a spirit, he can use a portion of their power for himself. So this is where we initially realize he can do that. So he pulls out Sandalphon and starts fighting. It's the first time we actually get to see the main character be a little bit of a badass, a little bit not completely useless, other than, risen up the ladies and failing to rise up the ladies, and just a whole lot of pseudo slice of life antics. And it was because of that that she found out she could trust him, and we were able to finally seal Diva.
Her power, I think, is pretty cool, and she is able to use it to influence the people around her, which is part of basically how I would assume she managed to get so popular. Like
Well, before she got her power, she was a good singer.
yeah, but I don't know. I think like her abilities and what she can do with them just kind of enhanced it. And when you watch the episode, they also allude to that. But I do think her powers and her abilities are pretty cool.
All right, so let me pull my fucking thing back up. Where is Origami? Is she on here? Okay. So, a character we neglected to mention, because even though she was super early on, is Tobichi Origami, the girl over there in the orange. Not initially a spirit, but also kind of yes a spirit. We'll get into that later. She is Shido's actual official, quote unquote official girlfriend. And she is the horniest motherfucker you've ever seen. She just wants to jump all of his bones all of the time. Completely jealous of the spirits. And also, she is secretly, but not too secretly, part of the AST. So she is actively working against us to try and kill our friends, because she's been brainwashed by the DEM, basically saying, yes, all spirits are bad. When they show up, the spacequakes happen, and this is just for the best. So, despite, knowing Toka and Yoshino without figuring out they were spirits initially and becoming their friends, she actually turns on them and tries to kill them despite listening to reason. And, I just don't like her as a character. She's just... It almost feels like they just had to throw her in there just to be horny.
I actually think that they just kind of... So, we kind of skipped over Origami, but we actually meet her in the first episode.
Yeah, okay.
And just to rewind a little bit.
Okay, we're going to rewind. Okay, I'll take it from here. So, when Shido was practicing rizzing up the ladies, his sister basically told him, hey, try it on one of your schoolmates, see what happens. And Origami, super popular, super genius, he just so happened to do it on her, and it worked, and she agreed to be his girlfriend, and he's like, wait, the fuck? What? No. What? No. And then a whole bunch of antics ensue from then on. Now you can take it away.
Well, I was going to say, so it's kind of hard for Arknova to talk about Origami because he really does, just truly hate her.
I hate her. She's just so annoying to me. She has no personality.
She goes through a lot, though, and I think because of, it's hard for her to let go of what happened, which which is weird as to why you hate her, because I feel like that trait is pretty relatable
Eh.
for you, for someone maybe.
She's
But I'm just saying
she's
that-
got it all.
But
Brains, power, dudes. She's got it all. Why does she need parents?
I'm just saying that, like, she goes through a lot, and Lord already said she loses her family. So even though he gets mad that, you know, she has this hatred for these spirits, I think it's understandable as to why. What's irritating is she doesn't seem to grow from that. But then again, there's not a lot of, I don't know if too many characters really do like a super duper turnaround, other than maybe because we can see Toka the most out of all of them.
Toka's a turnaround. What?
Well, that's what I mean.
Toka's just the same old Toka throughout.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. Like, I do, like, I'm not exactly sure who out of all of them ends up getting the most screen time, but
Kurumi.
well, yeah, I suppose so. But well, I don't know about either, but
Yeah, she's effectively the true partner. Like, she's effectively the whole reason the story is trying to progress the way it is near
yeah,
the end.
that's true, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like I wish they kind of would have done a little bit more.
Well,
There's
it's kind of hard, limited space.
that too, but yeah, like I don't really like Origami either, but I can understand where she comes from a little bit, and like it's hard to try to force a change if you're trying to forgive these things, and they're like, I'm sure to her they are things, even though, you know, they call them spirits, but like for her to try to forgive that and then try to move on to be like, okay, well, I can't do anything about what happened, and, you know, I just have to try to accept it. She doesn't really get a chance to have that.
She kind of does, but we'll get on. We'll get on. So after we meet Diva, we meet the twins, the Yamai sisters, Yuzuru and Kaguya, who each have one half of Raphael. And we meet them because they're just making hella like hurricanes and tornadoes and just rampant natural disasters because they're trying to fight each other, trying to determine who's the true spirit and who's the imposter and who's the rightful heir to Raphael. So basically, they get into a riz off with each other to try and riz up the main character and not the other way around, which is kind of funny. Kaguya is very like cold sounding and calculating and just smart and unfeeling, and Yuzuru, and I might have this backwards, so whatever, but one of them is very like cold and calculating. Well, not cold, but like very monotone, very robotic and stoic, very just calculating and logical and factual like me. And the other one is very just outgoing and fun and goofy and just actually enjoys life. So we meet them. One of them uses a sick ass chain whip, and the other one uses a giant ass lance. They each have one half of a wing, which is pretty sweet. So they have to figure out who's going to be the true spirit and who's going to effectively disappear after they inherit the full power. So they basically riz them up, or they riz up the main character so he can decide who deserves it. And there's a lot of antics, like a lot of bath time, bedtime shenanigans, a lot of boob and love shenanigans, and he just doesn't know how to choose. So he takes them each on their own separate date, and each of them says that he should choose the other one to stay because they care about, despite always being fighting each other, they care about each other more than they care about themselves. So what ends up happening is he kind of seals them both, and they both get to stick around because I can't remember why, but it's pretty neat.
So it's Yuzuru that is kind of the more cold one, and Kaguya that has
The bouncy bounce.
yeah, she is like more cheery, demeanor, I guess, than the others. Um, they're I kind of like their combined power. They create like a bow and arrow that they fire.
The giant lance, and it's pretty
And it's
sweet.
pretty freaking sweet.
It's pretty sweet.
Um,
I love how she said she loves that now. When I initially brought up about how sweet it was, she's like, eh.
like it's I guess compared to like everybody else's, like I guess like on their own I do think that that's cool, but compared to everybody else's I'm like but yeah, I know.
Toka!
I
Sword!
I'm okay with
Yoshino! Puppy.
Yeah, well, I don't know, at least her thing, like at least it flies.
They have angel wings. They can already fly.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Friggin' Miku. Do 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 do, or however else chopsticks would go. Friggin' like out of the four like season 1 and 2 spirits, or like out of the handful of season 1 and 2 spirits, the twins got the most interesting power.
Yeah, they do, I suppose. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just, I guess maybe it's because, like, it just like, I don't have too many memories of season one, and so it's, like, kind of hard for me to think about it, because it's, like, it's overshadowed by, like, the other ones a little bit, I think, especially more so later. And again, because once they do, like, their dates and stuff, they don't quite really go back to them.
Nope.
Like, yes and no, only because of the fights that end up breaking out and that end up happening as they're trying to help the other spirits.
Yeah. All right, so that's basically effectively season 1 in a nutshell. Season 2, it kind of, oh, I can't remember. Did we actually meet Kurumi in season 1? I don't remember.
I don't either.
But anyway, so that's effectively season 1 in a nutshell. Season 2 is kind of more of the same, but we kind of get a lot more backstory of everything. So it's either near the end of season 1, start of season 2-ish. We meet Kurumi Tokisaki, also known as Best Girl, also known as Nightmare, but more or less known as Best Girl. And in my opinion, obviously the fucking most important spirit in the show, save for the actual final one, which we will talk about when he rises. But Kurumi is pretty sweet. She is like one of the she's actually the like first spirit, like the first, like the oldest spirit, and thus she has like one of the best powers. She uses guns, but these guns have 12 different bullets that can control time and various other things, such as like rewinding wounds. She can make clones of herself. She can send her consciousness into the future, send her consciousness into the past. So we initially meet her after we found out like she died, but then shocker, she didn't die. But then we saw her die again, and shocker, she wasn't dead. And then we saw her die again. And effectively, we saw Shido's, we meet Shido's biological younger sister, Mana. And she is constantly killing Nightmare because she works for the AST, the anti-spirit team. And she's killing her, but she doesn't seem to be dying. And at some point, she transfers into our school and uses some ghost-ass hands to fuck everything up. And basically tells Shido that her main goal is to steal his power, i.e. the power of all the other spirits. So one of the main things we see that shows she's not exactly a terrible person is there's a bunch of bullies bullying a small little kitten, and they're like shooting it with like BB guns and throwing rocks at it and shit. So she just blasts them with her magic guns and then effectively eats them as punishment. And so she saves the baby kitty, and I think that's pretty cool. Alright. Back to me again. So, Nightmare. I love the Goth Lolita thing. I love time manipulation. Like her powers, FKL, is basically she summons a giant clock for the different bullets. She has a little mini clock in her left eye, but she is the most important spirit. So using her power. So actually, we'll rewind that a little bit. So also in season 2, we meet the spirit known as Phantom. Very mysterious, but seems to know a lot more than she's letting on. And Phantom kind of helps jog our memories of the past that we shouldn't have, but we do. So Kurumi uses her power to send us into the past to try and like figure out exactly what happened to Origami and her parents and everything, and tells us to figure out exactly who the giant fire spirit was, who Origami set out to kill, because the giant fire spirit's the one who killed her parents. But so we get back to that point, and we save young Origami and whatnot, and we see the fire spirit fighting the Spirit of Origin, who is the titular antagonist of the series. And she's just going on a rampage, can't control her destructive impulses, and just blazes and explosions all around, and just so happened to hit Origami's house, or so we thought. So the reason Origami is on this spirit list, despite not being a spirit, is she actually is a spirit. And not only that, but she is actually the one who killed her parents. And she sees that. And that drives her insane. So the Spirit of Origin gave Origami the power to fight the Flame Spirit, which was her life's goal all along. And she gave her the power of Brunhild. And through that fight between Kotori, our little sister, who we found out has the fire god demon Ifrit, and Origami, who has Brunhild, Origami's lasers and the ensuing part of that fight caused the massive explosion on her house to cause her to die, to cause her parents to die. So through that, we get, like, she gets fractured memories and not really understanding what happened, but she sees that she's the one who killed her parents, and she kind of has like a mental breakdown, a mental split, because we kind of did that. And did we actually save her parents during that? Yeah, no, I think we did. I think we had them, like, I think we met up with them and told them to move out or move away or something.
Yeah, like,
so
yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly,
I believe so.
We save her parents, and that causes a split. Like, obviously the history got changed because of that. So we go back into our timeline, and Origami now has super long hair. She's super shy and super timid, no longer part of the anti-spirit team as far as I can remember. And she is no longer trying to hop on RD. She's no longer the horn dog. She's more like reserved, more very feminine, very demure, very, very, very good. So that's the Origami that I like. You know, one that actually seems to have a personality outside of, hey, you're Shido, I'm Origami, I'm your girlfriend, let's fuck. And that's really the reason I don't like her, is I feel like they just shoehorned her in just because, almost. Like, I don't really see her having much of a personality.
Just to also, like, because now that I'm, like, kind of rethinking, and after what you were talking about, season 2 is also where we learn that our I believe it's DEM is wanting to dem they're wanting to invert the spirits. So
Is that the end?
So they want to essentially take their power and invert it, so then that way they will be able to use their abilities from that inversion to further their own goals.
Well, sort of. We don't learn about that in season 2. So she's like 90% right, but she's also adding in stuff from like seasons 4 and 5 that we just finished watching not too long ago. So DEM Industries, headed up by Isaac Westcott, who is our actual official antagonist, final villain, is trying to take the spirits, and he doesn't want to kill them per se. He just wants them neutralized and captured. And then he subjects them to all kinds of inhumane torture to push their emotions to the breaking point. So, Shido, so in order for Shido to seal their power, their happiness has to be at like a maximum level through their date and through their feelings for him. And that's nice, you know, that keeps them happy, keeps them normal. But the spirits can also invert if their happiness and emotional state effectively break down and fracture to the point where they're like huge depression, pessimism hole. And an inversion is basically them going from being like spirits, quote unquote, with the angel power to more having more like a darker demonic power, you know, the opposite side of a coin. So instead of having angel powers like Sandalphon and stuff, they get like darker demon powers and they start going with that. So the first one to invert is Toka. She gets captured and Shido tries to save her from DEM Industries. And the torture wasn't working, so what Isaac decided to do is kill Shido in front of her. And he does, and Shido dies, and that sends Toka into, well, Shido supposedly dies, and that sends Toka into a complete mental breakdown rampage to where she inverts. And upon inversion, we see that's what Isaac's goal was all along, not the actual neutralization, but the inversion of spirits. So we get to see his official goal, and like that was probably the coolest reveal of the show to me, is the inversion of spirits, and I wanted to see so much more of that, but they actually only inverted Toka. Nobody else throughout the whole series got inverted. It was hinted at that some of them got inverted, but not quite. Well, okay.
Well, one other.
Nia gets inverted too, but we don't really get to see much of that.
And so does our key girl, our moons.
Muku?
Yep.
Muku doesn't officially invert.
I thought she did.
No. I don't remember her inverting.
Yeah,
I think she just
did.
I think she just went ballistic and got mad.
Well, I believe that's what. Well, so I'm gonna still call it an inversion because her outfit completely changes.
Does it?
Yes.
Let me pull that up.
Pulling up the footage. Not really the footage, but.
All right.
Yeah, she gets pissed because during a fight, which I think it's actually I want to say she's fighting with our sister. And she gets her hair cut and it drives her ballistic.
Yeah, but she doesn't invert. Like she doesn't, like, there's literally
let me pull it up.
There's literally nothing about her that inverted. I literally Googled it, and the only person that there's any inversion of is Toka. At least in the show.
Give me just 1 second.
Well. Alright, let me see. We're gonna pull up.
Food prices are just...
Well, that's not true. Yeah, let me see who has an inverse form. Then we'll be talking about that. Known cases.
There we go.
That's not inverted. That's just her changing her outfit and getting pissed. Inverted means they use completely different powers and they don't even call upon their same angel. Like she still uses the power of Michael.
I see. I thought that would have been an inversion, but I guess
Known users: Yatogami Toka, Origami Tobichi. Let me see inverse form. Okay, so Origami actually inverses. How did I forget that? She looks so cool inverted.
She does, yeah. She gets a double form.
Nia Honjo inverted. But we don't really get to see her do much of anything because Westcott just blasts her immediately. Come on, go back. Oh, Mukuro Hoshimiya. Alright, let's see. What does Shifuru mean? Alright, so she gets a different form, but not. So maybe she does invert, but maybe it's like half an inversion and an incomplete inversion. Go back, come on. The Yamai twins, do they invert?
I don't.
They did not.
No, I don't believe so.
They died right before they could.
Yep.
And then White Queen. Alright. So, they didn't do too much with the inversion that they could have. We got to see an inversion for like maybe 5 minutes per character, and then fucking we fixed it.
Yeah. I don't know how different the show is from the light novels, but
Pretty different.
once I get in, I'm sure that we'll be getting into that at some point, and we'll be able to talk about that.
Maybe.
It might be worth it.
It might be. But anyway, so we see the inverted, and Toka goes from like this very demure young woman to like step on me mommy kind of girl, very sadistic, very awesome, very much better than her current form. So after that, the next spirit we meet is, it would be, so we did Kurumi. So next we meet Natsumi Kyono, the green chick on the right with the witch's hat, known as Wizard, I think. Known as Witch. And we see her, and she's like this big, tall, voluptuous woman with all these cool powers and shit. But then we actually see that's an illusion, and she's actually a very self-conscious, small, very small, non-curvy lolly. And in seeing that, she basically thrusts all of us into like this weird little Halloween-y book story maze puzzle riddles. And she's effectively disappearing all of our friends if Shido can't solve the riddles and figure out which one of the people in his life is actually her, because she is assuming the form of somebody in his life. So it became like a pseudo mini murder mystery novel, and I thought that was really cool. And her power is Haniel, who has like all kinds of her magic. She can make like donuts and shit rain from the sky and turn missiles into carrots and just transmogrification. And she can just basically, it's like transformative magic with some flair, and it's pretty cool. Okay, so we meet her and we basically say, hey, we like you for who you are. You don't have to be big boobs mommy. I like you for who you are. You're fun, you're free, you're fanciful. So after we meet her, because we're actually freaking running down the clock, so after we meet Natsumi, I think our next spirit was actually Nia Honjo. So Nia is also known as Sister, and she is probably one of the most powerful overall spirits. She has the ability in her book Raziel to see all the events and see anything at any point in time whatsoever, whenever, however, whoever. So we meet her on the street, and she is actually a manga artist who is the manga artist of one of our actual favorite mangas in the show. So we meet her, and we found out she was on hiatus for 5 years because she was actually being inhumanely tortured by DEM because she was she was captured, and then she escaped after 5 years of torture. So she's back to resuming her own manga stuff, and because of that, she's like very phobia of just the 3D world because of everything that happened to her. So we try to dress up as one of her favorite characters from a manga and riz her up, but since we didn't read that manga at all, we got completely blown the fuck out of the water by trying to do it. And she's like, no, that's not what that character would do. He fights solely for vengeance. He says, love? Hell with that. Vengeance. So, in order for us to do that, we try to make Shido a 2D character that she would like. So, we start drawing and making a manga ourselves of Shido's adventure to try and see who would sell more copies, her new volume or our volume at Comic-Con. So it came down to the wire, and we inevitably lost / tied because we're down to the last volume, and she kind of went out just slightly before we sold out, but that was good enough for our first volume to get her to want to read it. And it's based on a true story of everything Shido did for the spirits and everything. And like they made Shido like super gorgeous, super sexy, attractive in the manga. Like they gave him the sharp features, the sparkle eyes. They basically turned him into a freaking Tuxedo Mask from Sailor Moon Crystal. You know, but more useful. So after that, we're about to actually seal her power when Westcott appears and fucks everything up and forces her to invert. And in so doing, he actually manages to quote-unquote kill her, reach inside of her, and take her spirit crystal. But at that point, it's a darkened demon crystal. And he actually absorbs it himself, becoming a demon king. So now he has the power of Beelzebub, the opposite of Raziel. And Beelzebub also has the ability of omniscience, who enables him to see everything, all events, past, present, and future. And that was just absolutely nuts. So then we basically spend the rest of season 4 preparing and trying to go fight against him because he is the titular antagonist. And a little bit near the end of season 4, we actually learn about Kurumi's true goal is she wants to go back in time and kill the Spirit of Origin because the Spirit of Origin took everything from her. So that's why she wants to eat and absorb Shido. And that actually brings us up to season 5, which now my dear co-host can actually start talking about. What do you mean no? We literally just watched season 5.
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean no? Okay, well, I guess it's back to me again. So season 5 is where everything like super comes to a head. So Westcott with his newfound powers is super gunning for Shido's head now. And because he's doing that, we have to prepare. So they go on a full-on assault, which gets stopped by Mana, our little sister, who Kurumi actually told about the fight going on because she actually had to save Shido's life 204 different times in different pasts because he kept dying and dying and dying. him and Kurumi have an ongoing bet to try and see if A, she'll make Shido fall in love with her and willingly get devoured by her so she can go kill the Spirit of Origin, or B, she'll fall in love with him and be allowed to seal her powers. After learning about all of that going on, we once again meet Phantom, also known as the Spirit of Origin, also known as Reine, a character we've been with since season 1, who is basically our analyst on the ship Ratatosk.
And who is also was also responsible with helping with a couple of obtaining the other spirits
Yeah, the
because of
dates.
her expertise. She's essentially has a she blah blah blah. She's able to help more, I guess, than our sister. There's a couple missions where we're trying to seal the spirits, but we fail, and so she then like comes on board to help us do the thing,
Basically.
which is getting them sealed.
So, it's revealed that she is a spirit. She's the Spirit of Origin, the one responsible for everything. So, she is Kurumi's enemy / our enemy. So, our whole goal is not only to fight DEM, but also fight her. And the big reason is Shido isn't Shido. Shido is actually a reborn version of Shin, who is the name Reine always called Shido by. And we just kind of thought it was like a little cute thing since she's always tired and she really just doesn't care to learn his full name. No. So, Shido used to be Shin Takamiya before he was reborn and adopted with Mana, and they found the Spirit of Origin, Mio, in the street, and they took her in and adopted her as their sister. And Shin fell in love with her and got her to fall in love with him, and they went on a date, and he effectively tried to protect her, but a young Isaac Westcott was chasing her down to steal her power because he wants that power for his own, for reasons I will get into in a little bit. And he killed Shin. And she went ballistic. But also not really. She got really weird and used her ultimate, like, reality warping powers to effectively give him a rebirth, becoming his mother. And his memories of Shin vanished, and he became Shido and got adopted by Kotori's family. So her whole thing, the Spirit of Origin, the reason Kurumi wants to kill Spirit of Origin is because all of the spirits used to be humans. And the Spirit of Origin was giving people the crystals to force them to become actual spirits, but 99% of the time they went berserk. And she gave Kurumi power to fight these like demonic entities because Kurumi always had like this sense of justice and like warm heart to save people. So she had all these powers and she was capable of killing like these demonic entities. But these demonic entities were actually humans. So she was effectively killing humans, and one of the humans she killed was her best friend. So she wants to go back in time and kill the Spirit of Origin with all the power that she would be gaining to make that not happen. So we have to fight the Spirit of Origin, who is in 2 parts, Reine, and then Phantom, who lived inside of, or Phantom, which is Reine, and then the actual Spirit of Origin, Mio, who lived inside Kurumi. They combine to make one ridiculously super powerful Giga Spirit, who is literally just broken as shit and can do all the things. So she actually kills everybody, like literally everybody, and takes all their powers so she can finally make Shido immortal. And after she does that, Kurumi shows up because we gave her, she showed up to try and fight with all the power, then she just got completely wiped out. But her whole purpose with that is to show that Shido can send his mind through time. So a big battle ensued. Isaac Westcott, we killed him. And then we tried to take her down and she killed everybody. So we sent our brain back in time to basically try and make a strategy to put a stop to this. And it worked. It worked pretty well, even though Reine and Mio kind of caught wise to it. So we failed on that front, but then we also failed because through the power of Beelzebub, Westcott actually saw that alternate timeline where he died and decided to take better measures to actually steal the power away from her and like fully unleash it. Because Westcott is a very sociopathic individual. His mother died and he was elated and delighted by that. And then his whole village burned down because they were a village of actual mages that could wield magic and they were persecuted against. And so he just went on a vengeance rampage and he actually summoned and gave birth to the Spirit of Origin to try and steal her power. So he effectively steals her power and makes like this dark world tree, and his power and Mio's power then clash together and it kind of warps reality around it, and we do manage to kill him, but that makes all the spirit power disappear. But the spirits don't actually disappear. So like Date Alive was one hell of a wild ride that took a very big turn into territory I was not ready for.
Especially coming from like dating sim, like when you're just kind of thinking like, oh, okay, we're just doing this and sealing like the spirits and that way they don't go berserk and kill the planet, all the way to like, oh, it's like alternate timeline,
Alternate universe.
alternate universe.
Angels that can turn into demon gods.
And dudes that can turn into gods and die.
And dudes that can turn into females, and females that can turn into dudes. And it's just, it went from like dating sim to like this weird supernatural to supernatural space battles. Oh, we actually completely skipped over Muku.
Yeah.
So after we meet Nia in season 5, we meet our final official spirit, Muku, also known as Zodiac, and we see her in space, and she has like the most ridiculous fucking power. Like, she can open wormholes and space gates and seal people's powers and shit. And she actually locked away her own emotions because she got hurt by her adopted family. She was really super clingy and close to him because they saved her from loneliness. So she got really jealous because her older sister was talking with her friends and ignoring her. So she went through and she locked all of their memories, effectively making them forget all about them so they would only see her and spend time with her. And they basically berated her and kicked her out and this, that, and the other. So she locked her own heart. And when Shido showed up to riz her up and stuff, to try and get her to unlock her heart, he successfully did it, but then she got super jealous about everybody else around him, and so she made everybody forget about him again. Or she made everybody forget about him now. So we had to basically go back and figure out why she did it, how to get her to undo it, or us try to undo it. And that's when she went berserk because we were fighting with her and some inverse people, and the alternate timeline origami apparently somehow came back into play. But, so, I get, that was much less a review and more like an overview, so now let's actually review it. So, I guess we'll start with the spirits. So, Yadogami Toka. Personality, outfit, powers. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, I like her personality. She's fun. I know a lot of the characters are fun, but I just it's hard because God, let's see. So, our girl.
Yep.
Boop. Oh,
No, you can do that. You just have to scroll down.
okay. Okay. There we go. Our girl here.
That they can't see.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, we're just gonna do that. So anyway,
Yeah, that's for us.
I like her outfit. Like I like her form a lot. Um, I don't care. I don't care if she's just big sword. I like those characters. I like Saber. So it makes sense too that I'd also really like Toka.
God, Saber's like
I don't care.
Saber's the worst.
I don't
dude.
care. I don't
Saber's
care.
the worst.
I don't care.
You like big sword, then why don't you like Heracles?
I don't know.
He's got a huge fucking sword.
I-
Sort of. Kinda. Does he? No.
I thought he was just hands and he went berserk and murdered.
No, berserker.
Berserk.
Let's fucking find out.
Okay then.
Oh, it was from like an introductory show of like a sitcom.
I guess.
No, he got big sword.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, big ass sword, dude.
Okay. Well, anyway, I relate to her.
Oh yeah, he got a huge fucking sword, dude.
Mm,
Yeah, he will
Huh.
fucking barbecue with that thing. It's got no fire whatsoever.
just do not remember. But I
Because you were too busy thinking about the bone of your sword.
probably that.
Anyway, this is not a review of Fate Stay Night. This is a review of Date Alive.
Yeah. So I like her. I like the colors that they have. Like, because despite the fact that she's like they make her a knight and she has like a badass sword, the colors that they use for her outfits are really soft. So I kind of like that.
Mhm.
I'm a fan of that.
I like how floofy it is, and
It
I
is
like
floofy.
I like her bow.
Her bow's great.
I like her bust. Her bust is pretty good.
Yeah.
Not as great as others, but it's pretty good. I like how it's, even though was just ragging on Saber, I like how it's kind of like Saber's, but like more feminine.
Yeah, it like it's armor, but it's like it's pretty.
The
Pretty.
the skirt has more floosh to it.
Yeah.
All right. Our next girl was Yoshino. Start talking about Yoshi.
So even though I don't really care too much for like her personality, I think that her outfit is cute.
Mm-hmm.
I do like I like the fact that her hood is the bunny ears. It's really I think it's adorable. I think her primary outfit that she's in most of the time is so cute.
Man, how'd this go from a Date Alive review to teaching focus about animals? That is definitely a fucking frog.
Oh no, I thought she had a bunny. I thought it was a bunny. I'm talking oh.
Damn, how let's go from a Date Alive review to teaching Arnova about animals.
Yeah, that's right. Shut up.
To be fair, in the picture, that does look like the fucking frog eyes. Like, what kind of green fucking bunnies have you seen?
I haven't, but that's what like I don't know, it's still cute. Like her outfit's cute. I like that her spirit is like super big fluffy and she can fly on it. Like I like that.
I like Yoshino a lot. She's just a fun character. Like, she's very innocent.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I get yeah. Well, I mean like she when she came, like I'm sure she has to be the youngest.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So she's very innocent. Like,
compared to everyone else, yeah.
she doesn't know the ways of the Riz, but she's trying to learn the ways of the Riz
Oh yeah.
by
I
watching the fucking soap operas and stuff.
Well, that and like also so later on it gets to the point where even like little sister needs help with these dates, and so the spirits like start also
Like
putting in
getting
their
it,
input
yeah,
on the options that you should choose because it is literally like a dating sim. They
yeah,
have
a
like
visual novel.
yeah, they have his. So he's there at the date, and then they have his options on the screen. They literally vote for the options of what they think will work, and it's pretty good.
All right, friggin' Origami. I think I've said my spiel on her. Like, I don't like her personality. Her powers are cool, and her outfit's pretty neat. Like, her spirit outfit's pretty neat. But personality just doesn't do it for me. Like, I think she's so annoying.
I think I like I don't I like her. I like her spirit form too. The like this essentially like her swords that she
Turns into laser cannons.
yeah, turns into laser cannons is pretty freaking dope. Um I don't know. I don't mind her design. I like her double form too.
Yeah.
I like that she kind of gets to, even though like the second one isn't really her. I think isn't it like her second form? I think is basically alternate universe her.
Oh, her second form is her inverse form.
Oh, the double form is.
Yeah, that's her
Oh
inverse
no,
form.
no. Oh man, no. I thought that was the form that she got because of.
No.
Okay.
So, moving along, we'll talk about Kotari slash Ifrit. Really not much to say. Like, really, really good design. Like, I like the reds. I like. She fights with, like, a giant axe that also turns into, like, this giant ballistic laser cannon of fiery death. And it's pretty sweet.
I'd say like personality wise, like I like Toka, but I like Kotari's design, probably like one of the top ones. Like I like it, and yeah, I do like that she wields an axe too. Big weapon,
Big smoosh.
big smush.
Uh, the Yamai twins, like, really not much to say. Big chain whip, big spear combined to big bow. They each have a wing, and their outfit is very bondage esque. Like, it's neat, but I could do without the bondage esque. Give me more like floofy.
He likes all the cute, so anything cutesy, he would like. I don't necessarily mind their outfits,
Of
but
course you don't.
it's like but it's also, um, I don't know. I do kind of wish they added a little bit more to like their outfits. They can tie into how the rest of them look. Because like yes, they all are different, but I think the others it's kind of a little bit more of a balance to for what they look like. I wish the twins had a little bit more of that.
Miku, before Kurumi appeared, was best girl. Like, her outfit, her personality, her design, just 10 out of 10. Just perfect across the board. Like, very feminine. I'm well, okay, 9 out of 10. I don't like the color yellow too much. 9 out of 10. I like her little moon beret. I like her little flowers and stuff on her choker and stuff, because she is an idol, so like her outfit actually super fits with her. Personality wise, she's all over Shido, but in like a more fun way than Origami, because she has a more reason to, because he saved her life. What are your thoughts, Diva?
Um, I don't really like it does fit, but I don't really like her outfit as much. I do like her power though. Like her powers are pretty amazing. I like the way that she's able like she's especially in the later fights you get to see like her bring out like
Giant piano.
yeah, it's yeah, the piano that she uses to fight with. I think that that's pretty cool. So I don't really care too much for her outfit, but I really like her abilities. And I like her personality too. She's funny. She's pretty funny, I think.
Yeah, if you had her
Really
powers, I would die so fast.
Probably.
You'd be like, oh, buff song? All right. Natsumi. Fun personality, fun powers, but I'm not a big fan of the outfit. Like, her outfit is like a little miniature witch outfit, which isn't bad per se, but it just doesn't really do it for me. I don't really know what I dislike about it, but it doesn't do it for me. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of her little witchy outfit.
I don't mind her gimmick, because I was trying to think back to it, and was she the one that isekai'd us into that storybook?
Sort of.
Like, I thought that.
No.
Oh no, she wasn't. I was gonna say.
Wait,
I would think. No, I think she. Like, I thought she did.
No. That was Isaac.
Oh.
No,
dang.
she's the one who basically locked Shido away and then gave him a bunch of photos of all the girls he took and said, "Hey, for every day you don't guess which person in your life I am impersonating,
that's right,
that I'm
that's
going
right.
to disappear one of them."
Yep, that's right. Yep, that's what it was. Yeah. I think her outfit's cool. Halloween has always been like my favorite holiday, so
Like, it's not bad.
I do like
It just
it.
doesn't do it for me.
it's cute.
All right,
like it.
Nia Honjo, sister. Love her powers, love her personality, hate her outfit. Don't like it. Don't like the holy robes. Don't like the nun's habit. Don't like it at all. Not a fan. 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 dress.
Yeah, I think that's because for you it lacks the poof. There's nothing. There's nothing to make it fluffy at all.
I mean,
So I can understand why you wouldn't really care for it.
Debatable because Mukuru's outfit is fucking spectacular. 12 out of 10.
Yeah.
12 out of 10. Would pop out again.
I don't mind her outfit.
I love her hair.
I love her power.
I love her power. I love her hair. Again, her power is great. Her hair buns are great. She's basically Sailor Moon.
Oh,
But-
we're not talking about Nia anymore. Okay.
No. We already know what you're talking about. You love her power because it's the book power.
It is a book power. It's pretty great.
Yeah, you already extensively gave your information on how you feel about Nia. But Mukuro, love her power.
She's best. Like, I think like, so for me it's her and then our sister and Toka. Like the top 3, and I can't really choose between them. They're like the top.
Yeah. Mukuro, love her power, like Michael, the key space, locking shit down. Kinda iffy personality, but not too bad. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Reine's power, or Reine / the Spirit of Origin. Like 13 out of 10 power, 2 out of 10 personality, but fucking like 13 out of 10 outfit. Like her outfit when she's in her full spirit form as Mio Takamiya / Spirit of Origin is just like, it's everything. It's just everything. It's just angelic with like white and gold, and she has for the Saphira, she has the oh my god. She has what is akin to like the lightning drums from fucking Raiden of Japanese mythology, which is really cool that she stores their Saphira powers in.
I don't mind her personality. She essentially couldn't let go of the past, and so that's essentially why everything that happened. So I
She wanted to fucking date her son. She gave birth to Shido to turn him into Shin.
yeah.
She became his mother, essentially.
Yeah, that's weird, but I mean, she also just she couldn't let it go. She couldn't accept, and she died at the end. She chose to be gone at the end
Mm-hmm.
because of that. She couldn't. She decided that she couldn't just. She didn't want to move on, and she didn't want to try to.
And speaking of
differently.
parents, my man lived My man lived 2 different goddamn lives. Biological parents and adopted parents. Not a once fucking seen or even fucking mentioned. He has 2 sets of parents.
I think
You
that's
telling me they're both dead? You telling me they both got animated? Come on.
Yeah, I
Where
think
they
that-
at?
I think that's your biggest anger thing.
Like,
about the
where
whole
they at?
series. No parents.
At least tell me, oh yeah, the fucking first spacequake, they're dead.
Well,
Or fucking, they got hit by a truck and went to a better world.
I actually thought that at least for our adopted parents, our sister, I thought did say that they were supposed to be gone for a while.
I
Not
don't
that they.
remember.
I think she did, but it was still too long. Too long for them to be gone.
Was it though?
I think so.
Like, here's the thing.
What is anime time?
Yeah, like how maybe like 5 months have passed at most in the show.
Who knows? Maybe.
Anyway, best girl
Best
Kurumi.
girl.
Everything 100% infinity out of 10. Personality, powers, outfit, infinity out of 10. Just best. Just friggin' black and orange Halloween got Lolita. Her left eye is a nice yellow clock, not just any fucking little piddly ass lame American clock, but it's got Roman numerals. It's got that cool shit. It's got Roman numerals, gun, time, hands,
It's-
clones, blood, eat, saving cat. Infinity out of 10. Best girl. Top tier.
Like
Fantastically made character.
like her or Rem.
They're equal.
Yeah, I was about to say,
They're equal.
like he
'Cause-
can't choose because he loves timey-wimey stuff.
But then Rem's got the whole sexy, demure demon maid going on.
Mhm.
So it's like, they're both pretty goddamn good.
Yeah.
If not Rem, then Kurumi. If not Kurumi, then Mommy. And if not Mommy, then Death. Oh, same thing. Anyway. Okay, so. That's all of our character everythings. So, action scenes. For what started out as a dating sim, all in all, I actually had some pretty solid action scenes, even if half of them got CGI'd near the end. Like, the fact that the wizards were just flying around in like these pseudo mech suits, like little personalized Gundams, using beam sabers and lightsabers and lasers and cannons and shit, just for what started out as a dating sim, it actually had some pretty good action scenes. I'd say the action scenes were a solid like 8 out of 10.
And also funny, like Shin, Shido, one of the fights against a bunch of clones that was on like our enemy squad.
So Isaac, after he got the power of Beelzebub, was actually able to summon Beelzebub's daughters, and there was just a bunch of these little clones called Nibelco who had effectively gotten, like, they effectively killed us a bajillion times throughout the different timelines for Kurumi. And yeah, so
he fights them by rizzing them up and by blowing kisses at them, and it is so funny.
it is
Like-
it is the stupidest yet funniest thing, because
It works.
it
Well,
works because they're spirit born, so they're spirits, so he just fucking rizzes them up. He just hits them with a W Riz. Kids W Riz. And it seals them, and it works. And it's goofy, but all in all, like, surprisingly good fight scenes. Like, I was actually blown away by how cool some of that shit was. And I'm not a big fan of space and mecha stuff, and like more than half of it was like space mecha stuff. Like, it was basically, I don't even know how to describe it. Basically, fucking Star Wars versus Harry Potter.
Yeah, I guess like that's fair enough to say. Like, yeah, it is really weird because like, and I was kind of about to say like, as far as like the fight scenes, like Kurumi just going crazy and destroying like a bunch of these like she's destroying these waves and waves of like robots, and it's just like I don't know. I really liked that scene. I liked that fight. Like even though she's working on killing like these mass amounts of things, like I liked watching that. That was cool. Um, I liked Kotori trying to go against Kurumi, which she obviously gets owned, but I liked that fight.
Yeah, so surprising fight scenes.
Yeah,
Like really good fight scenes.
so like for what it is, surprisingly they do seem to have thought about some of their skirmishes, and I think that that's kind of nifty.
All right. Plot. What did you think of the plot?
I don't know because it went to where I did never even would have imagined that it would have went. Like I thought I would just like I initially did not really want to watch this show because I just thought that I'm like, oh, it's just another one of those, and like it took me a little while to be like, oh, okay, I guess it's not. I guess it's not too bad.
She says a little while, but it literally only took her 7 out of like the total 80 episodes that exist to fucking get into it. like once they started fighting robots and shit, she's like, "Oh man, all right, I'm here. I'm invested. Let's go."
Yeah, I was like more invested in the story because like it was finally like it was getting to like it was getting serious. Like the story was storying, and like I just kind of wanted like it finally hooked me to where I wanted to know more about this world.
And she thought initially going in it was just gonna be like your bargain bin generic harem anime, but it's only like pseudo harem. You know, like they all have feelings for him because he made them have feelings for him, but at the same time, fucking him is not their goal, not their whole like lives, their whole goal in life, except for origami. So it's like they still go about their own thing, live their own life, and do their own shit without effectively making him their whole lives. Like, yeah, he has a bunch of bitches, but he only has a bunch of bitches because if he didn't have the bitches, the world explodes.
Yeah, yeah.
And Lord knows he's not the Rizmeister to freaking get all the bitches. Definitely not like Sword Art Online, who's the characters' personalities in that show basically boil down to, I want to fuck Kirito. You too? I want to fuck Kirito. And Kirito's like, ladies, please. You're not Asuna. Sorry. Which is, I hate that he actually has that redeeming personality trait where he is like 1,000% loyal to Asuna. I hate that he has that personality trait because I hate him so much. But like, he's not a bad guy character. He's not a dick. But yeah, the plot definitely took me by fucking surprise. Like again, like her, I thought it was just gonna be about fucking, basically, like High School DxD. But I mean, High School DxD actually had a surprisingly interesting plot too.
Yeah, it did.
But anyway, yeah, I thought it was just gonna be, and it's, I was surprised, but I'm okay with the direction it went. But I was honestly just wanting it to be like the dating sim portion, like all of that, because I wanted to freaking just see like how outlandish the choices and situations he gets himself into could be. Like I wanted to see how ridiculous those situations would be for just the dating sim portion.
Yeah.
And we only really got that like for most of season 1, and then some tinges of that in the other seasons. Because during the other seasons, he started thinking for himself and be like, you know what, I got a little game. I'm gonna spit some of my own game, see how this works. We'll see. I got some plans. I got some ideas. But I was actually pleasantly surprised. It's a really neat story for what it is. Maybe like 7 out of 10. Probably a 7 out of 10 story for me. It's really good, but it could definitely do some things better. Like, I understand with how many characters they have, you can only really assign each character like a small amount of screen time to keep the story on a relatively acceptable pace, so it doesn't hit filler arcs and stuff like One Piece and Naruto and Bleach and shit like that, where you're just spending like 10, 15 episodes on each character, fleshing them out and getting to know them and doing all this. So I understand that you just gotta keep it moving and moving and moving and moving. But I do wish they would have fleshed out the characters a little more. Like, take them out on a date to seal their powers, and then at least, like, have him take them out on another date with their powers sealed. You know?
Like, either that or, like, I think it would have been like, they probably, if they had cut their cast down some, they probably could have gotten away with having more of, like, a saga with the inverse. Like, I understand you want more dating sim, so, like, I get that.
I
think
also wanted more inverse.
Yeah. So, like, I think if they had cut down their cast some, they probably would have had more time to be like, oh, okay, we can actually do this, and, like, we can actually make this a thing, and what are they gonna do to, like, help fix their hearts or whatever? Because essentially, that's kind of what we're boiling down to. Like, obviously.
Or even then, even if not that, let them all go inverse. And here's how I probably would have written the ending. Let them all go inverse. Go crazy terrorizing and shit. And then let Isaac steal each and every one of their powers. So we could see all of their inverse powers in, like, huge super action. And then, when Mio finally reveals herself, the Spirit of Origin, we can have friggin' them do all their shit against, you know, our normal girls, and have that go the same, but then have Shido actually officially be allowed to seal her and take her Spirit of Origin powers and also everybody else's powers, and then have Shido using all those powers and the Spirit of Origin and everything, and fight Westcott with all the powers of, I'll just call it like the Spirit of Void, Spirit of Nothingness, I don't know, Spirit of End, whatever they would want to call it. Probably the Spirit of, like, the Void or the Spirit of the End or some shit, or Spirit of Nothingness. But anyway, have those two fight using, he has all the holy powers of the angels and he has all the fucking demonic powers of the Demon Kings, and have those two fight and clash and finish it up. Because
that would have been so cool, because, like, the thing is,
it ended basically by him, like, making a demonic Yggdrasil and asserting his will over the planet to make a pseudo-reality world, and Mio joins us because of some talk no jutsu stuff in her memories, and she finally comes to terms with Shin's passing and lets herself fall. She uses her power of the angel that can literally render everything to nothingness and everything, and they clash, and that ensuing clash kills both her and Westcott and all spirit energy in the world. And it's like no real fight between the two main antagonists actually happens, and that's a bit of a missed opportunity for me. Like, I feel like give Shido, and you showed him using, like, it showed him using all of these different spirit powers, because Shido, as we learned, is a spirit, and he has the power of, like, regeneration and shit. But, like, we've seen him use all the powers multiple times, except for Raziel. Well, no, I think he even used Raziel. But anyway, have him use all the powers to fight Westcott with all the Demon King powers, and that would have been such a sick, sweet-ass ending, and it would probably have jumped it to, like, a 9 out of 10 plot for me. But, like, that was just such a missed opportunity. You know?
yeah, like, it's really unfortunate, because I think, like, his coolest thing that he does is use Kurumi's power to
Go back in time.
And, like, it's unfortunate. Like, I kind of agree.
I don't know, him flying around with Raphael and then using Sandalphon and Helvenhel, the enhanced big sword, to just start big swording the shit out of people. I think that was pretty cool. Also, him with no fighting prowess whatsoever, finally busting out the sword to save Miku. against all the Bandersnatch.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool. But yeah, like
they don't give him they give him all this power and not
And
enough opportunity. Like not enough
well,
opportunity.
we got to see him use a lot of it in the last season and a half. He was busting out Gabriel and using the buffs and pulling out the sword, and I think he used some ice. But yeah, they definitely needed to give him more screen time to actually fucking wield these powers willy nilly. And man, I don't think we actually officially got to seal Kotari. I don't think we got to seal Kotari. I could be mistaken, but if we did, then man, let him use the big fucking flame cannon, man.
Yeah.
And the big axes. Let him just tear shit up. Like basically I basically am gonna akin this to Elden Ring. So many weapons, so many spells, so many builds, not enough bosses.
Yeah.
Like so many badass weapons that just fall by the wayside. So many badass weapons he doesn't get to use. So many badass spells that he didn't stat into. Faith, Int, Arcane, and all that shit. And he just doesn't get to do anything. But we've been rambling on for an hour and a half. So, final thoughts on it all.
I think I'd actually recommend this show. I definitely was not sure that I would before. But after seeing what it actually turns into and like essentially I guess the more that I think about it, like them trying to work through their emotions for Shido to be able to seal them, like I guess overall that's a pretty nifty idea.
Yeah. I'll also recommend it. Like, even to people like her who aren't really big into, like, the whole gotta fuck 'em and duck 'em concept, the harems and everything, at least give it a full season to try. First season's like 12, 13 episodes. Give it a full season. I would definitely recommend it. It is super neat and nifty, and the cast, both personality-wise and clothing-wise and power-wise, is incredibly diverse.
Yeah, for like as many of the girls that are
They're all very, very clearly different, except for the twins. But the twins,
the twins. So like their outfits, I think like everyone's outfit is set apart from each other, and so I think they did try their best to take that into consideration.
Oh, the three girls. The three just regular human girls. The Three Stooges, basically.
Oh.
So we're gonna leave you with one last thing. So
recap.
there is a group of three girls in our school, and they're kind of our friends, but kind of just they're just classmates, but they're like acquaintances and friends. But there is one girl who out the entire show literally only says 3 words anytime she speaks. All she ever says during any instance, during every scene that she is in, is, "That's so lame." And she says it in different inflections based on the emotion of what's going on. Like, "Oh, that's so lame. Oh, that's so lame. Oh, that's so lame." And that's all she says. And that is great. And that voice actress has gotta be like living her best life now. Because all she fucking had to say was, "That's so lame." That's all she had to say throughout the entire 5 seasons. And it's not just like a 1 or 2 time thing. She is on screen a lot.
Yeah,
like,
the classmates, they do get like screen time.
They are on screen a lot.
Compared to everything else that's going on, I would say that they do get a lot of screen time.
But yeah, so definitely, like, I say it's like a solid, given everything, like the whole diversity of the cast being like, also like the cast is so diverse for as large as it is. Like, there's no real overlap in it. But yeah, my end thoughts is I definitely recommend it too. It's probably in my top 5, top 10 of all time anime. I just really fucking enjoyed it for what it became. It has some hit or miss moments. And honestly, you can see all these girls and all their scantily dressed outfits and stuff. This is actually not that heavy on the fan service. I'd say its fan service factor is about a 6 out of 10. You know?
Yeah, I guess so. And then, really also, it's some of the girls just kind of like messing with each other
Yeah.
too.
So
Like,
I'd say overall fan service for this about 6 out of 10. It's got less fan service than Fairy Tail. For what it is, it's got less fan service than Fairy Tail.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
So if you're worried about being like overly ecchi and overly fan servicey, it's not. It's really not. Like, it doesn't really lean into the like. In most instances, like there are some very scandalous scenes, but even then, it's not that bad. 6 out of 10 in the fan service. So for what its whole concept is dating them and loving them and stuff, not that fan servicey. It's pretty decent. So overall, 8 out of 10 for me. It's almost a perfect show to me. Like, it's almost perfect. But yeah, so that is our overall review of Date A Live. Hope you guys got some useful information if you were on the fence about watching it. I wish I could show clips, but I don't want to get demonetized on Twitch. And if you had hesitancy watching it, give it a shot. It's all on Crunchyroll. It's pretty cool. You might be pleasantly surprised. Definitely a diamond in the rough. But yeah, thanks for watching. And next week, we are probably going to go through the first season of A Certain Magical Index and see how that goes. Until then.
Till then.